building a fizzer. Both wanna be right, lose sight, can't cut with one blade in a scissor. Are you willing to go away when I want you to stay?
In a giant sea of cool podcasts, you found the podcast that kicks the cool to the curb.
Hi-ya!
I'm your...
Yeah.
Once again, I have halls in my mouth, but I am your big sister Shishi.
I'm your big little brother Tone.
I'm your little brother Wopsle.
And you have come to the place where we give you the reviews you didn't know you needed. Welcome to Kick the Cool, episode 2 of season 3.
Yay.
Woohoo.
Woo, woo, woo.
So I'm still a little bullfroggy.
Yeah.
I'll try not to, lozenge you guys to death, the clicky clacky and the sucking and the smacking. Try not to do that. But I might have to call an audible and let one of you guys take over later. Depends on how it goes. So let's just.
Okay.
What have you guys had going on this last week? Anything interesting?
Wopsle, you definitely have the most interesting stuff going on in between the two of us.
Well, you say I have an interesting life, but I would say most of my life is spent trying to figure out and talking about that day's Wordle. So are you guys doing Wordle as much as me and my household?
Well, once a day is all you can do it, right? So yeah, probably.
The maximum amount. We are
the maximum amount. I haven't missed it. And it's your fault, Wopsle, because you were like, hey, you guys really need to try this. And I was like, okay, I guess I will. But I love word games and word puzzles. And I didn't know it was going to be that fun because it's just so little,
Yeah.
So we have to explain it to Tony, though. I don't think he knows what Wordle is.
I haven't touched it, and all I know is I see these yellow and black squares, and then people say "yay, haha," whatever. I don't they celebrate it for some reason.
So you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. That's pretty much the game.
Well, so what it is you have a grid of 6 rows. There are 5 letters or 5 squares in each row. And so you start out just with a random 5-letter word that pops into your head, and you type it in up there, and it'll tell you if you have the right letters or not. And then so you can take those letters that you know are right and take them to the second one and make up a word with those letters. And so you have 6 tries to guess the word of the day based on your deductions and your eliminations and your logic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's really, I've heard there's backlash now because for some reason people don't want other people to have fun. There's some kind of backlash.
Always.
Yeah.
Wait,
but,
people are
really
enjoying something? I hate it.
Right. Oh, it's too many people are enjoying this. It must be bad.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest part to me that is fun about it is that everybody, you can only do one a day, Tone, and everybody in the world has the same one on that day. So it feels like to me like a modern version of what probably way back in the day the crossword was. Like, everyone got the paper and did the crossword, and you could ask about it and talk about it. It's kind of like that, but like on a modern scale, because, once somebody else, like you say, did you get the Wordle? And then if they say, yeah, then you're like, oh man, this one had a double L and I wasn't thinking about that. Or, all different kinds of craziness about it. So it's, it gives everybody something to talk about, which is, I think, the best part about it to me.
So that's why you're seeing those blank squares, because everybody has the same word. So that's just like if you want to share your results, it shows like what your guesses were, but only the color coding is like green means your letter is in the right spot. Yellow means your letter is in the wrong spot, but it's in the word. And then gray is nothing. So you can see kind of people's progressions without actually giving the word away.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this going to be something that sticks around a while, or is this a flash in the pan?
It's
I don't know.
It's a Pokemon Go.
I'll probably still play it, that'll be probably on my list of games that I like to play, but I maybe will not do it every single day.
Now, I also, for a while there, I thought that it was just the name of a Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
Wordle, because there's isn't there one a Pokemon
Squirtle.
named Squirtle?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Wordle, Squirtle.
Yeah.
He needs to get on that train. He needs to start his own. Squirtle needs to make an app and call it Squirtle. and then you have to guess.
There's some kind of cross promotion there.
Yeah,
got to be.
Back to Pokemon Go. So there we go. It's all connected, is what I'm trying to say.
It's all connected to go. Yep.
Right.
I will say this: that guy needs to get Wordle.com, because I had to go through so many articles to find an actual link to the actual Wordle game. It's not called Wordle. It's called language something.
Yeah,
I guess I should have looked that up.
I just Google it every time. Still, the only way I know how to get there is to Google it. Yeah. I do have one pro tip that if you're like me and you're just kind of like always wanting to be that kid that's just a little bit different, on Wordle, if you go to the top little like gear, the settings, you can turn on colorblind mode to where the yellows are blue and the greens are orange. And then whenever you post it, then instead of greens and yellows, it's blues and purple, blues and orange, and everyone will think that you're the cool kid because your stuff is different colors. So that's what I'm doing now.
Wow, that is a hot take.
Change the colorblind mode, and you will be the cool kid.
Cool.
Very cool. All right.
Yep, that's a freebie right there.
All right. Well, I love Wordle. Everybody should go play it at least once just to see what we're talking about. Feel free to post your stuff to our Facebook feed if you'd like to discuss Wordle with us or with other Kick the Cool listeners. But let's go ahead and move on to our first review. Tone, what do you have us for today?
I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. Does anybody know that song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Oh, yeah.
All right. Cool. This listener is approaching Tom Brady, Michael Jordan status right now. This is Nathan V, and this will be 2 in a row that we did for Nathan V. And this is actually a season 3 hot take, talking in your sleep. He sent this one in, and yeah. Wapsle, what do you think about talking in your sleep?
Got my oven mitts on. This one's so hot. It is right out of the oven.
Oh,
it's
boy.
Ooey. It's
coming
gooey.
out.
I love it. Yeah, I feel like I love talking in your sleep. It's always buck wild. It's always funny, and it's always hilarious, and it's always a little bit awkward because if you're the one that did it and people are telling you about it, it's like, I mean, but like you weren't there. I mean, you were there, but like you don't know, and so it is sometimes a little bit like explaining a dream to someone where like it was so epic and so funny and so notable, and then the more you talk about it, the more you're like, well, that's nothing.
Right. That's a big nothing burger.
Right. But the times while it's happening, it is so choice, and I'm definitely here for it.
And Shishi, what do you think about talking in your sleep?
Well, as I get older, I don't think I do any of that. I mean, I do some, but like, I was walking around all the time when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
right.
If you have kids, that is one of the most entertaining things about having children, because they are constantly talking in their sleep.
Well, and there's a big, add-on to this. So there's talking in your sleep. And then what goes with that a lot of times is some sort of sleepwalking type activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Mom came in, and Sherry, you were kneeling down in the floor in front of your stereo, and mom walked in and said, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be in bed." And you said something like, "I can't get all the cereal."
I was looking for the prize in the cereal box.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about, I don't know, 9 or 10.
Right.
11, something. I don't remember.
But now the obviously the pinnacle of talking in your sleep is when you reveal some information.
Secrets that you keep.
No, I don't. The secrets that you keep. Right. I don't know that I don't think I've ever done that.
And is it trustworthy? Who would say, you dream about a lot of crazy stuff. And if you're talking about what you're dreaming about.
Is talking in your sleep admissible in court? Can you be like, he was sleeping over there just now, a second ago, before he got called up here, and he said, I did it. So case closed.
That's a good basis for a story. Is the guy's in court, he's asleep, and he's just talking about everything you did wrong.
I don't feel like people really give secrets in their sleep. That I travel around hanging out, at mission trips and stuff with being a youth pastor, and so I'm in a large room with a lot of people sleeping often, and pretty much every trip somebody's the sleep talker, but it's always just like they're in their dream out loud, so they'll just be like, "No, the eyeball has jelly on it," and so it's like, well,
yeah.
What are we doing? Like, you're talking in your sleep, but it's just randomness. So it's very rarely useful information, even like silly things. Like no one's ever revealing their crush or anything. It's just basically an audible dream. It's like weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yes, and with dreams, we're always like, who wants to hear, someone's entire stupid dream? And unfortunately, that's where talking in your sleep kind of falls in too. Is like, just talking about their dream and all the jelly on that eyeball.
No, I don't think it ever gets old. I don't find it boring at all. Of course, I like hearing about people's dreams too, because I like to get that little juicy tidbit about their psychology, their psyche. So, but I don't know. I think it's hilarious almost every time it happens, just because they have no idea that they're doing it. That is what makes it so funny. They could just be giving you their grocery list, but it's hilarious because they're sleeping. That's why it's funny.
Do you know who sang the song when you're talking in your sleep that I just sang?
Ronnie Ferris.
Yes.
Who? Ronnie Ferris?
Is it the Romantics?
It is the Romantics. Wow. Good job.
With lead singer Ronnie Ferris.
Thank you. Who's Ronnie Ferris?
I don't know. It was the first random name that came out. I thought it was pretty good.
Wait, you don't know a person named Ronnie Ferris?
No, I don't.
You're just making up names over there. Are you asleep right now?
I did it. I pooped.
So I googled Ronnie Ferris. Apparently, that's an.
I was talking in my sleep. Never mind. Go ahead, she.
Well, when I Google Ronnie Ferris, there's an OBGYN in Norman that's first thing that comes up.
Oh, good.
So.
Okay, good.
One of our fine listeners.
Just FYI.
Hey, Ronnie.
Shout out to Ronnie. Dr. Ronnie.
What's up, Dr. Ronnie? Here's what we need to have. We need to gather people, and maybe this needs to be a professional sleep study, but we need to gather people who talk a lot in their sleep, have them fall asleep in the same room, and then see if there's ever a conversation that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's it.
Can you imagine how awesome that would be?
Well, I feel like any of the times that we all shared a room, that would have been, if somebody had been awake to record us, we may have spoken, to each other. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. I'll bet that might have happened, but there wasn't somebody studying it. Or, think about how much talking in your sleep probably happens that no one ever even hears. Probably most of it.
Yeah.
In the world.
Because everybody's asleep. All right. Well, let's rate this big bad boy brought to us by Nathan V. Wopsle, what do you rate talking in your sleep?
So some things are just less rateable than other things. I feel like I have some experience with this. So I'm gonna rate talking in your sleep 30 out of 30 high school kids sleeping on the gym floor, talking in their sleep to one another.
Okay.
Having sleep conversations.
Yes.
Shishi, what do you rate it? What do you rate talking in your sleep?
I rate talking in your sleep 2 eyeballs full of jelly.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I knew it.
Oh, no. What a great rating. Oh.
Is that the first time? I'm trying to think. Is that the first time we've rated something that?
2 eyeballs full of jelly?
Yeah, I can't remember if that's.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
That I don't know that I think I had that on my list already. Possible ratings for other things.
Right.
It's just so universal.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to rate talking in your sleep. I'm going to give this a pretty high rating because I really like talking in your sleep. I love it. So I'm going to give it 24 out of 25 unfinished sentences.
Well, we can't go back now, but the deciphering of hearing someone else's talking in their sleep is a whole nother topic.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That's true.
They
Yeah.
said just a little something. What were they saying? Is a great point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have to wait for the revisited episode.
We keep saying we're going to revisit, and we never do.
We did once. We did one
time.
episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. I think it's Wopsel's turn next. Wopsel, what did you bring for us this week?
There's a big game. It's football. It's gonna be a big one on your TV. And there's gonna be some quarterbacks throwing the pigskin down the field. And we're gonna watch. There is a big game. And I don't know if you know, but we're not allowed to say the name of the big game because of the naming rights and whatnot. So.
Really? You're not even allowed to say the word? The
No,
name?
you're not even allowed to say the name of the game anymore.
But there's a.
You have to just call it the big game.
I don't know that Kick the Cool is especially on the radar of NBC Universal, but
I have an alternative name for it. The Pooper Bowl.
Okay. I'm there.
there's most certainly something called the Pooper Bowl that happens every year
Right.
already too.
Yes.
So I don't know what it is.
I probably don't want to know anything more about it than what we already know. I don't want any more information about the Pooper Bowl.
But it exists, and we know that to be true.
Agreed.
That is enough. That is enough for me.
Wait, so are we allowed to say that
Pooper Bowl?
name?
Oh yeah, we should check.
If it's already claimed, can we say
We
it?
should check. I don't know.
There are a lot of entries for the Pooper Bowl, by the way, on the internet.
Well, listen, okay, wait, before we go down this rabbit trail, I actually don't want to talk about the big game or the Pooper Bowl.
Okay.
Because most people, if you ask them if they're going to watch the big game, they say, of course I am, for one reason and one reason only. You know what that reason is?
The
commercials. So I want to talk just about commercials in general. And if you want to hone in onto some Pooper Bowl commercials, then I think that's timely for the release of this episode. But Shishi, what do you think about commercials all in general?
I feel like they've gotten a lot better than they were when I was a kid. Just more creative. The music is better. You know, used to it had to be like an original jingle was written for the product or whatever. And now they kind of just use popular music. So I like that. I like commercials. They're like a little piece of art. So now if you're talking about TV commercials, like just you're watching TV, which we hardly ever do, I don't mind them. But if I'm watching a streaming service or like if I'm on a YouTube and I'm watching my Baumgartner restorations video and there's the ad pops up, that drives me insane. I hate it. But for some reason, it's fine if I'm just watching a television program on regular TV.
So bad.
No big deal.
It almost is freeing at times where like I'll be sitting there and go, what? Oh, a commercial. What do I do now? Like, because I'm so used to streaming that I don't hardly ever get commercials anymore because I pay to not have them. But then I'm like, once in a while, I'm watching a normal TV and a commercial comes on and I'm like, oh, I get a little break. I get to take a break right now.
Right.
This is awesome.
See, I mean, think about that. When we were younger and all we had was network TV and there were commercials every few minutes and you were like, okay, I'm going to wait for 5 minutes and then I'm going to go to the bathroom and then I'll come back and watch the rest of my show. Well, now you actually have to go, I got to pause this or, and it's like you maybe sit there for 2 hours needing to use the bathroom, but you don't want to leave your show.
Right.
There is no natural break. Can you remember when we would be watching a show all together and then the commercial comes on and everybody scatters and does their thing and then you're coming
Everyone
and leaping over the couch to get back in your spot when it starts?
Yes.
It's back on!
I think that was...
It's back on! Hurry!
That's what I was going to say. The call from the living room, it's back on. And you're just running and diving.
I remember us doing
That's
that
so
for Friday
good.
night videos
Yeah.
quite a bit. Like
Yes.
Friday night videos was a big thing.
When they were playing The Romantics, I hear the secrets you keep when you're talking in your sleep.
That's right.
That was back in those days.
Yeah, that is funny. If I'm watching a TV show and there's a 2-minute break of commercials, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But if I'm on YouTube and I have to wait 5 seconds before the skip ad pops up,
Yes.
I'm so angry.
Yeah.
It's the longest 5 seconds ever.
You're just spamming that button for 5 seconds.
Yep. That's so true. Yeah, I think, commercials are going to be a lot different moving forward than they have been historically. But I've been thinking about this, like, aren't there just some commercials that are so stuck in your brain from when you were little? Like 20 or 30 years they've been in there now. Just like in there. Just like jingles and even like pictures, like actual, segments of commercials are still stored in my brain. Isn't that weird?
Wopsle, can I just point out that you said when you were a kid 20 or 30 years ago, I was an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Full, immature, but full adult.
Right.
That's pretty wild.
Well, I wasn't
so
sure.
sad now. I have to leave.
Bye, Steve.
I didn't want to go back so far that commercials didn't exist, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get up into that territory.
You are such a turd.
All the commercials had T-Rexes. Yeah,
They're tiny flipping arms. So, Wopsle, what do you have in mind? I mean, you sound like you have a specific commercial in mind that's stuck in your mind.
Well, like for me, like for example, I can still feel the feeling in my heart from watching those Micro Machine commercials where the guy would talk real fast. Remember those? Like I can picture him. He's got that little mustache. Like those are so ingrained in my head. And I haven't seen one of those in many, many, many years. Of course, they haven't made them in forever. But like, does that mean it's a great commercial if you still remember it long after the product doesn't exist anymore?
I remember the song Macarena, but I don't ever want to hear it again. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of commercials that I could recite right now, and I really wish I couldn't.
If it made that big of an impression on you, was it because it was a good commercial or because you heard it that many times or saw it that many times? Yeah.
It's pretty wild that every single ad you've ever seen, there's a team of people creating that. And it's wild to think that somebody made up ancient Chinese secret, huh? Like somebody made all this up. Who's making this stuff up? It's wild.
Yeah, like it's like a writer's room, as if someone were making a show or a movie.
Yeah.
But yet it's short and it's often just like buck wild.
There are no rules.
Yes. Yeah, I think, for me, the best ones are like, how about this? These days, once in a while, once a month or so, a commercial will come along that'll just make me cry. Like, because it's just like so heartwarming. There was one not long ago about a kid who was, I forget, he was working real hard for some reason. And I don't remember what the whole crux of the thing was. But then at the end, you found out he was working so hard to buy his little sister a bicycle. And so he rolled it up on the porch and gave it to her. And you're just like,
and the waterworks are turned on.
Just weak from it. Mm-hmm. So now, of course, I don't know what that commercial was for. So when a commercial makes you cry, is that good commercials?
That's what I like about commercials. It's like, that's where the art comes in. Because it's like somebody put their heart and soul into that to make you buy their product. But their heart and soul is still in there.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope it's not all just manipulation.
That's a very sweet way to
I hope there's some artistry in there.
I hope that there are two guys with big bellies and chips on their shirt going, they're going to love this piece of crap. Try this, do this. I'm about to make thousands of people cry. Watch this between eating chips.
Watch this.
Don't destroy my dream.
To go back to commercials from the Pooper Bowl, I think about like long ago beer companies decided our commercials don't need to say anything about beer anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you remember that Pooper Bowl commercial where the men were sitting on the side of the fence watching these horses play football?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And then they kick a field goal and make it, and it's just horses playing football, which is so awesome. And one guy says, "They always do that." The other guy says, "No, they usually go for two." And And then at the end, it's like Budweiser. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does this commercial have anything to do? But it's so good. So I think that's where the artistry comes in. They were like, we're not going to try to sell our product with our commercials. We're just going to make something memorable. Yeah, well, I think the commercial game, I think if we review commercials again in 10 years, which we should add that to the list to redo in 10 years.
Okay.
When we're obviously still doing this podcast 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Because now the pressure to have those first 5 seconds be gripping so that you don't skip it is always pretty weird. I can always tell, like, they're trying to hook me with something interesting. I'm still spamming that button, but the first 5 seconds are so different now. Before it's like you could establish the characters and the plot and the scene.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that anymore.
And, now it's a whole different ball game because if you stop and watch an ad now, or if you stop on an ad on Facebook or whatever, then you get more of the ad. Right. And it's like, you don't want to give them that. You get defiant. Right. You're like,
yes,
up your butt with a coconut, ain't watching your video. Yeah. You're not going to get me.
Sometimes like, I love Velveeta cheese, but I will not watch this ad.
Nope.
Because I don't want Facebook to know that I love Velveeta cheese.
That's right. Oh man, and sometimes you're like, this is the best thing ever, and I'm hovering my cursor over the skip ad button, waiting for that 5-second countdown to change, but I am enthralled in this commercial. Oh right. Wow, this is a great commercial. Oh no, I need to skip, but I don't want to. What do I do?
And then the skip button disappears if you watch it too long. It just goes to the next ad. Really? Yeah, if you watch that first one and it gives you a skip and you don't take it, it'll disappear and start playing you a second video.
See, that's just good, solid advice for anyone in this world right now. Take the skip.
Take the skip when it comes.
Man. We just helped a lot of people.
Okay, well, let us rate commercials then, and it doesn't have to be limited to the Pooper Bowl commercials, but it can include them in your rating. So what do you rate Super Bowl commercial? Oh no, I said it. We're the FCA. We're here to get you because you said the wrong
FCA. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I'll be back. I'll be out there in a minute. Okay, they'll wait for me to finish this episode, and then they're going to take me in.
Yeah.
Shishi, what do you rate commercials?
I'm going to rate commercials 2 out of 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I can say that in my sleep.
Wow.
If I was talking in my sleep, that's what I say.
I want this to be clear on the podcast that was not Googled or looked up. There was no break in there.
Thanks.
That was off the dome, and that's really impressive. That's nice.
I'm going to rate commercials 1 Spuds MacKenzie playing football on a Clydesdale. 1 out of 1. Spuds MacKenzie playing football on a Clydesdale.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, that's commercial. Them's commercials right there.
I don't care who you are.
Them's commercials. Somehow this didn't make it into our review, but I'm going to have to rate commercials. Give the gift you know can't fail from BC Clark's.
Anniversary sale.
That commercial is huge for a very, very, very small portion of the country. Right. But
is probably most of our listenership.
Yes.
Probably still. We don't get it up here in Tulsa, sadly. What? So these Christmases lately have been a little shallow.
I had no idea.
Recorded. I'm sure you have that available somewhere to play whenever you need it, right?
It actually is on Spotify. I found out since I moved to Tulsa, so it is on my playlist. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, so that was our second review. You know what that means? After our second review is the 5-star review.
5-star
So let's
review.
go.
The commercials. Woo. More commercials.
Well, For our 5-star review this week, I have chosen to spotlight the wonderful product that gets stains out of your carpet. And the name of this product is My Pet Peed.
I've got one of those.
I'm never gonna get tired of that
I've
name.
got one of those. Like people chewing their fingernails, like clacking their nails on the desk. That's my pet peeve.
Oh, not pet peeve. My pet
okay.
peed.
You mean like when people
Past tense of pee.
like when people put their stuff in the refrigerator but don't label it with their name?
Yeah.
Like
Not yes.
okay.
Yes. You just spray it with this spray and that problem goes away.
Okay, now we're talking. I was just being a jerk little brother trying to derail your thought right now, but now if we have a product that you can spray on your pet peeve, now we've got something.
Yeah, in fact, let's not talk about my pet peed and let's instead talk about my pet peeve, because that would be a real product that we could use.
Right.
And I'm sure that we can get some sponsorship from this fake, imaginary, made up on the spot
So when
product.
someone ticks you off, you just take the pet peed spray and you spray it, right? You spray whatever item.
And then they stop doing whatever.
Right. And then the peeve is gone.
Right. It's basically like a spray bottle for a cat, right? Like, quit doing that.
Now, if you happen to have a really big pet peeve about, pee stains on your carpet, it'll take that out too.
It just so happens it works there too.
Right.
Just so happens. Now, I'm going to be using it in traffic. I'll tell you that. I don't know if I have to spray myself or if I have to pull up alongside the other car. Do I spray the person or the vehicle? Like, there's a lot of stuff to think about right there.
Your arm's just out the window, because obviously it has two modes, right? It's got the more kind of like short and fat spray, or that long skinny spray.
Right.
You're in
Stream and spray. Yes. You got to get the distance with the stream.
And what sucks is you forget which one it's on, and you try to spray it over at the car next to you, and all it basically does is fill up your whole cabin with piss.
Yeah.
It's like pepper spraying yourself.
Right.
The nozzle faces backwards from what it looks like it should. So every time you try to spray it, you just get yourself in the face.
You just spray yourself full in the face. And then you go, oh man, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trigger's still on the front, but the nozzle's on the back.
You can't figure that out.
Oh man.
My pet peeve.
This is the best 5-star review we've ever done. I love this. Now, of course, My Pet Peed is a real product, and we're not going to get any sponsorship from them now, but I much prefer getting no sponsorship from My Pet Peeve than no sponsorship from My Pet Peed. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to choose.
Well, now if there's ever a company that comes out that is actually called My Pet Peeve, then they can use this as their
Also,
ad.
we should go on record and say, no one else is allowed to say my pet peeve without talking to us and paying us royalties. It's strictly off limits.
That's right. You can't even say it.
No.
That's right.
Right there along with the pooper bowl. You're not allowed to say it.
Thanks, my pet peeve.
All right. Thank you, my pet peeve.
You're so damn fed up that you gotta complain. Write a letter. You'll feel better. Reviews.
All right. Well, for our final review, that's me. And I thought, since you guys are always telling me to lean into the female aspect, since it's like, 2 against 1 here, and we're always talking about dude stuff. So today I want to talk about menstruation.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding.
Ooh,
Here we go.
I'm kidding.
There we go.
Email. We're really talking about email.
Email.
Oh.
Email. Not female. Email. So.
Oh, I see. You were always asking you to lean into the email part of the.
I'm sorry. I thought that would be funny. I thought you guys would freak out more.
I did. I lost my mind for a minute.
You can cut that out. So we're going to be talking about email today, boys. Tony, you like that email?
No, I really do. I love email, but what's so funny is email is like now, going the way kind of the 8-track tape and the cassette, like it's an old technology that we still use, but why didn't you just message me? You know what I mean? Like, why'd you send me an email? Mm-hmm. It's not needed.
Yeah. Well, so what about you?
Yeah, email. It's funny how, like, for most of the stuff you need in life, email is way too slow these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not really a great form of communication anymore. I think the only reason email's still in the game is because you got to sign up for stuff. Like, you got to have a Netflix. You got to get those coupons from Kohl's, and you got to have an email for all that kind of stuff. So I was going to say, I think that's the only reason email's still in the game is because of.
Well, but now they're even changing that where you can sign up with Facebook or, I don't want to sign up with Facebook or Google because I don't want them having all of my subscription information and stuff like that. But
right.
That's an option.
I don't want Mark to know what I'm liking and disliking. Thank you very much, Mark.
Now, just on a side note, wouldn't you feel really privileged if you knew for a fact that Mark was looking at your stuff specifically?
Oh, boy.
Out of all the billions of people that have Facebook. Wouldn't that make you feel special? Just a little bit.
Mark's really honed in.
I would be scared to death. I would be like, why? What? Why would I be in this?
All right, but this is not about Facebook. This is about email. And I have some questions for you guys. So what would you say is the most frequent email you get out of all your emails? Like even like the ones you signed up for, the ones you didn't sign up for, which company is the one emailing you the most? And I know, so you probably have way more emails. Like you and I, since we're working outside the home and, all of that, I think we may have more email traffic than Tony does.
Definitely.
But even my personal email, I have thoughts about things. So, Wopsle, what's your biggest email sender?
Yeah, I have tons of like automatically generated reports and junk that, I look at once in a while. Like I need them, but I don't want them. So I don't look at them very often. So like, every Monday I get a report from like my people database about who was and wasn't at stuff. And, I just get dumb reports that I just delete immediately. And then my email will come up and say, hey, is this actually junk? I'm like, no, it's not.
I wish it was.
Junk mail. But I know I treat it as such, but it is not. It's actual work.
Yeah.
Let me be fair.
So that's most of my emails.
So is that through like even with your personal email, like that the automatically generated reports at work is the thorn in your side that you just wish didn't exist?
Yeah, I think so. I'm also very quick to work hard to get myself off of things I don't really want to be on. So like, like that unsubscribe
That's a full-time job. And sometimes it just lets them know that you're a real person and then you have to. What about you, Tony? What kind of emails do you get?
Well, mostly like the thing that I get the most is probably I'm a big Amazon guy. I did a lot of research on Amazon versus Google and, trying to see who's going to have the better future in AI and home networking. And I figured it's probably Amazon. And so I went full on Amazon. So now everything I have is Amazon. And I've got, like 5 different Echoes for no reason. I don't need them, but my whole house, it's like if I stand in this corner or 3 feet away from that corner, you're going to hit a Echo. So
what is your most frequent emailer?
Oh yeah. And it's always my most frequent email that I get is always Amazon. And it's usually Alexa. It's usually telling me, look, I know we haven't talked to you since 3 p.m. and now it's 8, but there's some things about Alexa you need to know urgently. And then they'll tell me and I'll forget. And then they'll say, ask me to tell you a stupid story about trees. Okay. Alexa, tell me a stupid story about trees.
Do you like getting these emails from Alexa?
No, I wish they would stop, but I don't think there's a way to make them stop. I also order something off of Amazon about once every third day. So I constantly am in the, getting the email updates.
Yeah. So those things, I know I did that to myself.
Right.
So I just accept it. I don't need those emails that much, but sometimes it is good to just have a ping. Oh yeah, I forgot I ordered that, or okay, it's on its way, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of went through my email to see like who my most frequent ones were. And I have some that are in the top of my head. And I went through and kind of looked, and like I do Pizza Hut and AARP. Yes, I joined AARP. Then there's one Postable, Mint. Those things are like, okay, so I did it for 1 month, and those are around 20 emails per month.
Wow.
Okay. Then there was one that I thought, I think this one comes in a lot, and I don't know how I got on this list, but the email is from Money Metals Exchange, and I got 43 emails from them in the past month. I don't know who they are or what it's all about silver and coins, so I don't know what I did to get on that list, but I need to get off of there. But you're never, okay, here's a surprise. In the last month, my biggest emailer with 62 emails is Joann Craft Stores.
Wow. I don't even know what that is.
I'm getting off of there. I had no idea. I knew that they were in my inbox all the time, but I only check my email about once a week now because I don't get a lot of real emails. It's all this crap. Right. 62.
Wow.
That's terrible. Wild. That's terrible. Anyway.
That's like 2 a day, roughly. Yeah. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but that's
well, and I looked back through and kind of looked at the dates, and they were like blamming me with 5 in one day, 1 the next day, 3 the next day. It was terrible. So, I mean, I've got to get on there. But it's a full-time job getting on that unsubscribe track.
It really is. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do because some of them, I've noticed that some of them in mine, well, when I try to block them, it will say, well, there's no sender in this email, and therefore you can't block it. So I have certain spam emails that it won't let me auto send to the trash. And
really?
Yeah.
That's dirty play.
Yeah. It's real skeezy.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, I think that a lot of our younger people don't even really know how to email. So, I mean, like you said, it's going the way of the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. That's not what you said, but that's what I heard. So, but I think that
that's what I would have been. That's what I would have said had I been a succinct person.
Or an old-fashioned person that just uses, the most cliched phrase ever.
Right.
So, but so I'm thinking like, email destroyed the postal service, right? Built business, and now it's going away, and all of these other things are taking its place. I wish that we use Microsoft Teams at work, but there's only like 2 people, 3 people maybe that I know I can get on Teams. Everybody else emails. So you've got one person emailing and they forget to reply all. Then you've got another person responding to an email that came in the chain like 2 days ago. And then so they're not responding to the latest message. And it's just a huge mess. And if you have it in Teams or on your chat, whatever your work uses, then it's all in a line. Why don't people want to use that? Yeah. It's available. What's the problem?
Let's all get on the same page.
People don't want to.
Is it an elderly thing? Is it a rut thing? Is it like, what is the deal?
I think it's one of those deals where it obviously only works if everyone does it. So it only takes very few people not using Slack.
Yes.
If there's just like a few people not on there, well, then it takes everybody off of it, at least at a certain point. And so it's like, well, we're kind of using the lowest common denominator, like the least useful, least helpful version that everyone will actually use is better than a better version that not everybody uses. So that's what we find ourselves. We try to get on Slack about once a year, and it just doesn't work. I do have an invention. If Papa Email is listening to me right now, how about this? What if I could send an email to a group of people where the only option was to reply all? And the email would be clear. It would be like, hey, this is a reply all thread. There's no way to reply to this email where everyone's not involved. I think that would be a great idea. I think that would really solve some of the problems.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That
is a good idea.
I understand it's exactly what stuff like Microsoft Teams and Slack is doing. So I understand that the problem's been solved, but it needs to be integrated into the email because people won't get off the email for whatever reason. So just my idea. I have one more question for you guys about email, and that is, I know what kind of people that you both are, and it's the same kind of people I am. But there are two different people when it comes to email. Those whose inbox is near empty, and those who have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 unread messages in their inbox.
Should I go look?
Who are these people?
Which side? Which side are you talking about? Because I don't know which one you are.
Oh, wait, I assumed we were all on the same side.
Oh.
Well, I'm not here to put anybody on blast, but
I feel blasted.
But I do not trust you if you have any unread emails in any. I have zero.
You have
at all
zero
times,
unread emails.
Unread
Same
email.
here.
Do you check your email every day?
Oh, many times a day.
Oh, every 30 minutes at the maximum.
Do you have all of your email addresses that feed into one inbox?
Yes.
Yes.
So how many email addresses do you have?
I'm currently only rocking 2.
I have 3 because I have our Kick the Cool one go to mine too.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. All right. So I have 3 personal.
You have a bunch?
I have 3 personal Gmails. I used to have 2 work emails, but thankfully I only have 1 now because I lost one of my jobs. I didn't lose it. I got rid of it. I wasn't fired. So I have 1 work email.
It was mutual.
I don't check Kick the Cool. I trust that you guys are going to tell me when something happens. I'm sorry, I'm so lazy, but I just can't deal. So I only have 4, I guess, that I check right now. I do have several Yahoos that I go in and check every once in a while just because in case a long lost friend emails me on there, but that's
now when you go in to check those Yahoos, they have like 1,000 unread messages, right? And so you have to, do you go through then and clean it up as you're checking to see if you missed one?
Actually, I don't get that many because back then I wasn't inundated with things like I am now. I don't know if they've gotten smarter about picking up your, like maybe I got on too many lists or something, but those Yahoo addresses are not really that busy. So, but yes, I do clean them up when I go in. It just doesn't take very long. And I only check them, I don't know, once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So just every once in a while, just to keep them active. But these 3 Gmail addresses, I never get real. I mean, I do get some real things on there, but I don't check my email often enough and it builds up. And I had 346 in there this morning and I just went through and just marked them all red because I can't stand having that number sitting there.
Yes.
I used to, so you knew what kind of person I was, but I used to be on it every single day. I was checking all of my emails, dealing with things, unsubscribing, all that. So I have a lot of stuff that I could unsubscribe to from, but I have to keep my inbox red. I have to keep it red.
Yes.
It's so.
Even when it's falsely so.
Okay. Well, all right. So I think we have talked about email just as much as anybody would ever want to talk about email because it's going away. So,
yes.
Tone, what do you rate email?
Okay. I'm going to rate email 4 out of 5 clicks on the unsubscribe button. On that 5th one, I don't know what happened, but you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
We didn't talk about phishing. We didn't talk about spam.
Left a lot out there. Hey, I will say on the unsubscribe button, Tone, one of my pet peeves, and I've been spraying this website nonstop with the spray, and it's still there. But is whenever you click unsubscribe and it says, "Why are you unsubscribing?" And one of the options is, "I no longer want to receive these emails."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no duh. That's what brought us here, dude.
Full stop. That's all you need to know.
Why are you unsubscribing? Because I want to unsubscribe. Oh, okay. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sweet. Thanks for the clarification.
Are you doing this because you want to, or is someone making you do this?
At gunpoint.
So, click twice if you're being forced to do this against your will. Because we know you want those Mazio's order confirmations in your inbox. You can't possibly want to unsubscribe.
Are you doing this of your own free will?
Click twice.
Click twice for you.
Oh,
That was really funny.
Okay, there we go. All
right.
We finally found an email joke.
All right, Wopsle, you got to rate email now. It's your turn.
Yeah, I will have to rate email, as we've discussed already. RIP my inbox. It's dead. It's gone. It's done.
It's just full of reports
RIP.
nobody wants.
Right. It's either work or junk mail, and I'm over them both.
RIP my inbox.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to have to rate email 19 out of 20 sexy singles in my area. Okay, well, guys, I think that's going to do it for us this week.
That's right. Hey, thanks again to Nathan V for sending us our first season 3 submission. And that's how you get on twice in a row, peeps, is by sending us stuff fresh out the oven for season 3. So if you've got something you'd like us to review, hit us up on any social media stuff, or you can always email us. If email is your preferred method, the only email we do check and care about is reviews@kick.cool. We'd love to see you there.
That's right. We also want to thank the band Bugs. Thank you, Bugs, for letting us use the song Reviews as our theme song. Please go like the Facebook page, follow them
Thanks,
on Twitter,
Bugs.
find them everywhere. They're on all the platforms.
We love you, Bugs. And I would like to invite everyone to post your Wordle results to our Facebook page or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you like to be. We're at Kick the Cool on all 3 of those places.
Yeah.
So, okay, that means we're out of here. I'm She.
I'm Tone.
And I'm Wop.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Wordle.
You'll feel better.
Yeah, Squirtle. Yeah.
What do you rate it?
Tell me now.
Do it.
Do it. Rate it.
Rate it.
You better start rating.
Don't make me come over there.